Meteorologist Mark Molnar is your host for the weather show, Weather Northeastern. Let's get right into the weather. Before we do, you can send in photos and videos, MeteoMark, Weather Northeastern on Facebook, as well as MeteoMark.com@gmail.com. Let's get right into the weather forecast. We're starting to get a little bit more unsettled here in the Pacific Northwest, and I'll explain the weather pattern. And here across the northern tier into the northeast and eastern Appalachians up into the Ohio Valley and lower Great Lakes, that's where we're going to be seeing a big storm. It starts in Texas, Louisiana with a severe weather outbreak and propagates to the northeastward, where we'll see a lot of heavy rain, and on the backside, some heavy snow, and in between, we will see that icy mixture. Let's take a look at the particulars. We're looking at the weather pattern. After the storm pushes off the East Coast, we are going to see a very zonal pattern set up for the weekend into the new work week. Very, very flat jet stream, so we'll see these little systems rippling along the northern branch of the jet stream, very quiet along the southern branch, getting right into snowfall amounts across the northeast. As I said, that low pressure system will track to the western, extreme western portion of the forecast area, but nevertheless on the northern side here, along the Canadian border on northward, that's where we'll see that 6 inches or more back towards Sudbury over here and just northwest of Toronto. That's where we'll be seeing the higher totals of 1 to 2 feet of snow from Michigan up into portions of southern and central Ontario here, and even portions of northern Ohio, northwest Pennsylvania. We could get in on the 6-inch amounts possible. On the backside is this low pressure moves to the northeast. Most other areas here in the central and southern portion of the forecast area towards coastal sections will stay pretty much into the no snowfall to very light snowfall. So let's get right into the forecast maps. Starting off with your Wednesday, the midpoint of the week, almost to the weekend, halfway through there. Take a look at the northeast portion of the U.S. here. We're looking at a system. Of course, we got the first low pressure system moving up the coast here. We got that trough of low pressure extending from the Gulf Coast. All this moisture streaming out ahead of it. You see here across the northern Adirondacks, northern White Mountains, St. Lawrence River Valley, over towards southern Ontario here, over towards Sudbury. North of the Great Lakes, we're looking at mostly snow. Starting off is a mixture of snow, sleet, freezing rain across the North Country here. Heavy rain developing here, so we could see some flash flooding in portions of Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia. We're looking at the possibility of some very heavy rain and even some thunderstorms later in the day. Looking into Thursday here, this is where we've got system moving up towards the eastern Great Lakes. We've got a lot of wind. This thing will be a big wind maker across the northeast. The backside here, places like western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, will start as rain early in the day and progress over to rain and snow mixture, and then eventually over to all snow, places like Erie and Cleveland, and then eventually Buffalo. Heading up towards the North Country here, we're changing over to rain here. Warm temperatures. Cold front pushes through eastern Pennsylvania. After Wednesday night, we get some thunderstorms. Those will push into southern New England here, and as you can see, we get the dry slot developing here across eastern Pennsylvania, southern tier of New York. And this system's really winding up with lots of storms and potential for flash flooding here in southeastern and eastern New England. Heading on into Friday, that system pushes to the east. Colder temperatures, trough of low pressure, lake-enhanced snows here. Potential for a couple more inches of snow on the backside here into your Saturday. We've got a warm front moving in with the potential for rain and snow mixture across the area. And here across the northeast, temperatures are warming up into the mid to upper 30s and many areas pushing 40. In 10 seconds, I'll have a 5-day outlook for my hometown viewers from Binghamton to Scranton's upper Susquehanna region of upstate New York and northeast Pennsylvania. Don't forget to like me on Facebook at MeteoMark, subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark Comments, Twitter at WX Northeastern, and Google Plus at MeteoMark. Here's your 5 days stretching from Wednesday through the weekend. We start off with Wednesday, the chance of thunderstorms towards evening, especially after 7 p.m. We're looking at a couple inches of rainfall out of this heading on into Thursday. After 8 or 9 a.m., that dry slot kicks in, lots of wind. Temperature, your high will be in the lower 50s later in the day, but then Friday and Saturday we cool off, and Sunday we get that warming trend again. That's going to do it for this edition of Weather Northeastern.